special guest, Em Si Burron Felipe from Mexico City. Thank you very much for coming in today with us. We appreciate you being here at Wolf's Wisdom. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do, what kind of music you play, what kind of things you do as an artist?
First of all, thank you very much, Guillermo, for inviting me here to KVRX. I'm really excited to be here with you and your audience tonight. I basically do rap music, or hip-hop as well known here and in Mexico, I guess. So especially or specifically conscious rap. I've been doing this for more than 10 years now. I'm from Mexico City, and right now hip-hop scene back there in Mexico is growing a lot.
Yes.
With very much interesting artists, and I'm just a part of that scene right now.
You call it serious rap serio.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you tell me about why that phrase has so much importance and meaning for you?
Well, serious rap, or as you have said, rap serio in Spanish, it's a phrase that for me and for many other artists, as Magisterio, Jimbo, Banti, just to mention some of them, represent, first of all, to do the things well. And that means both lyrically and in terms of the music. And that's a little difficult back there in Mexico, since there's not too much culture about doing hip-hop music, I mean, well, in a studio with a proper master. That's a more recent thing back there in Mexico City. So basically, rap serio means this is a thing with quality, both in the lyrics and in the instrumental and in the lead performance.
Okay. You tend to talk about a lot of social issues, socioeconomic issues in general. Why don't you tell me a little bit why you decided to go in that direction?
Well, I could say that I've not decided that. I mean, just a necessity for me. I guess it has a lot to do with my education.
Okay.
It's important to let you know and let the audience know that I studied economics in the first place, and then I studied a master's in public policy. Actually, I made a semester here at the University of Texas at Austin. So, as I've always said, that doesn't mean that I'm better or better person or better artist, but that I'm sure that means that I have a wider perspective on the problems. So I guess that's the difference in my case. I mean, that was not my plan doing rap. It's just a necessity, and this necessity for expression was complemented with this formation, with this academic formation in this case. And I repeat, that doesn't mean that I'm better. That just means that I have a wider perspective on the problems, and that's what I reflect in my music.
You brought some tracks for us. The first one that we're going to play is called Hoy Más Que Nunca, Today More Than Ever. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about what's in the song, what went into that song, all of that?
Well, I would say first that after Burrón y Cuenta Nueva, I lived a process of trying to understand what have happened, you know. For me, Burrón y Cuenta Nueva really was a great success. And I gotta learn to manage to manage the success. So I stopped writing like 3 or 4 months, but I just came writing again as a necessity for myself. And Hoy Más Que Nunca is part of that. Is that part of that process? It means just today more than ever we have a country that need to be rescued.
Yeah.
And to be rescued not by cops, not by military, but by ourselves, citizens. So Más Que Nunca, it's like a scream for that, for citizenship to wake up, for hip-hop listeners to wake up, to say, hey, you have a very powerful weapon here, that it's a microphone. So let's use it. Hoy más que nunca necesitamos eso en Mexico. Today more than ever, we need that in Mexico.
KVRX 91.7 FM and KVRX.org with Em Si Burron. We just listened to his new track, Hoy Más Que Nunca, Today More Than Ever. And we're going to go into another new song, El Alma del Poeta, The Soul of the Poet. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that song?
Well, this is a very interesting song because it was recorded in La Habana, Cuba.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went last summer to Cuba. I'm Mexican, so you don't have to worry about problems.
Yeah, all the visas and stuff.
Okay, so I went last summer. I met these guys through a friend of mine here in UT.
Uh-huh.
So I went to Cuba. I met these people. I met Raudel, whose group name is, I can't remember right now. Escuadrón Patriota. That's right. Raudel is one of these new generation rappers in La Habana, Cuba. Rappers that are very critic from the of the regime,
Castro.
of the Castro regime. They are very close with Los Aldeanos. They are more popular. So I stayed like 10 days there, and when I met Raudel the very first day, he told me, "Let me hear what you are doing. Let me think about it, and let's see if we can do something." And I said, "Okay, that's pretty fair." So I gave him my record, Burron y Cuenta Nueva, and 3 days after he was like, "Man, let's do something. We gotta do something."
Yeah.
I was kind of little worried about not say anything about the regime, you know.
Yeah.
I that was the first time I was in Cuba, so I had no idea about what could happen.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, the only thing, and I guess the most important thing that Raudel and Los Aldeanos and most of Cuban critics have in common with me is that we see the microphone, as I said before, as a weapon for transformation, as a weapon that should be used to achieve better conditions of living. So that was the basic idea. When I saw Raudel 3 days after he heard my record, I told him, you know, I don't want to say anything about the regime.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have no enough information. So let's do something. Let's talk about el poder de la palabra, the power of the word. So we came with this track. Both are artists that think that this is definitely a very powerful weapon.
Definitely. Where do you get inspiration? And now off air we were talking about the whole Cuban rap situation, and you immediately got super passionate about it. Why don't you tell me a little bit of what inspires you about them, and what in general inspires you to keep being taking out these making these lyrics and making this serious rap?
I would say that is like a dual or a dual thing, because in the first place or in one side there's a very, very personal necessity to express what I'm feeling. If you remember some songs from Burron y Cuenta Nueva, like La vida es una batalla, or Mis demonios, those are really personal issues that I expressed through my lyrics. And on the other hand, I got the most the more social part of my work.
Yeah.
And the inspiration in that case is simply, I would say, the hope for a better world. I mean, I've always seen the microphone, as I said before, as a weapon, but as a weapon that should be used responsibly.
Yeah.
You should be responsible for what you do. So that's basically the inspiration, the source of my inspiration, the personal one.
Yeah.
The very emotional, let's say, and the other one is the social thing, the hope for a better world, basically.
And once you think about rappers and hip-hop artists that you admire, who comes to mind?
Oof. That's a tough question. I've heard hip-hop since I would say 20 years ago. So I guess it depends on the moment of the life that you are.
Yeah. And
in terms of message, I would say I like Mos Def, definitely. Talib Kweli, Big Punisher in 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And in Spanish, it's even more difficult because most of the most popular rappers in Mexico are my friends, so I cannot be objective with that. But School 77 is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Menuda Coincidencia, definitely one of my favorites. Ex Magisterio, Jimbo, Bante, Boca Floja. But yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot. I still hearing a lot of hip hop. The Cuban rappers,
Yeah.
I really admire their courage.
And you were talking about that Mis Demonios song in Burron y Cuenta Nueva. That's a song actually that called my attention a lot when I first listened to the record because, well, for everyone, the song talks about using hip hop and the microphone to beat your own personal demons and your own personal problems. I thought that song was a very standout song in the record. It talks something completely different than any other of the tracks. It definitely has that very personal and very worked on feeling. What was the point in your life that you were when you wrote that song?
That song was written like I guess around 2007, 2008. I don't remember. It was a point in my life when I want to be cured, you know?
Yeah.
Mis Demonios means that, or was written under the belief that most of us has these demons inside, and by demons I mean fears. All of us have fear. I made Taekwondo for 10 years, and I learned one of the things that I learned is all of us have fear. Any person that tells you that has no fear is simply lying. So Mis Demonios was a form to say, you know what, I gotta face this. I gotta face my demons, and I have a very effective way to do it, and that's through my lyrics with the microphone. So that's the basic idea.
We're gonna go in and listen to that song Mis Demonios out of Burron y Cuenta Nueva from El Em Si Burron. Again, you're listening to Wolf's Wisdom. We have El Em Si Burron, as you have heard, talking to us. He's come all the way from Mexico City, and we're very happy to have him here.
Thanks.
Once again, this is Mis Demonios off of Burron y Cuenta Nueva, KVRX Austin. So what would be the last thing that you would like to say to everyone who's listening?
Well, first of all, thank you for your patience. No, I mean, for you out there, if you think that we deserve a better world, go for it. I mean, in the way you want. In my case, it's through music and through school, but in the way you wanted to go for it, go for it. We really need, and we really deserve a better world.
Yeah.